Okay, friends, so let's start today's session. We welcome Shamik. Shamik, thank you for being there. Uh, for everybody, Mr. Shamik comes with almost 25 plus years of HR practice experience, has been in industry from working in retail to enterprise clients to IT industries to manufacturing companies. With his vast experience and last couple of years focusing primarily on productivity and performance management for people. In fact, he's writing paper on productivity also. So we are actually honored. Yeah, we are actually honored to have Shamik here. Thank you, Shamik, for being here. And I make you the host for the event. So kindly take this from here. For all your participants, any questions, kindly put it on chat. And we have the last 15 minutes for Shamik for FAQs. And after that also, Shamik is always available on call with help of opportune team. So we can always connect with him. Right. Thank you so much for joining. For all your participants, thank you for removing your time on your working day. I'm sure this is going to be a great learning session. And let's take advantage of Shamik's experience out here. Over to you, Shamik.
Thank you, Dhwani, and namaste. And generally, what Dhwani said that taking out time on a working day is always difficult. And while I may not know most of the people, but Dhwani, thank you so much because I'm meeting Durgesh after I do not know many years, many years. So, good evening to you all. Before I really get on with the topic, one quick question. Do I have all of the participants from the HR background or they are from anyone from the business side as well? Anyone who runs their own business or all of them are?
Most of the audience comes from the HR background, Shamik.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so because if it is HR, then I can still use jargon and can share my experience rather than a talking solution, right? Because if it is HR, most of them have experienced it, and so then they can relate with what I'm talking very easily. So great.
Absolutely.
I'm taking that most of the present people are in HR. Also, and is the language English okay, or do we have to mix?
All free, I think so. English, Hindi is the most
English
known language for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, then let me share as one of you person, my story and what happened and why this productivity thing. So, a short, what happened? I used to work for Gitanjali then. This was way back in 2005, a great company at that point of time. Subsequently, whatever happened is a history, but it was at that time I was going out for an evening party with my wife, and we went to a restaurant where live music was being played, and I ended up telling my wife, if Anand would be around here, he will ask me how do you calculate productivity of this musician? How does he contribute to the revenue of the restaurant? And we were laughing. I said, fine. And our dinner kind of continued. At the end of the dinner, rather not at the end of the dinner, when we had gone for dinner, it was little early and there were no one else sitting over there. And this musician started playing with the word that, look, I'm playing for you couple because you are the only people sitting in here. I said, wow, great. Thank you so much. And, at that point, Suddenly it realized that because this musician was so much personalizing, um, I I felt that okay, this is a nice place to go, because now I know that okay, Norman comes here every evening, plays music, sings, and he can recognize us. He can give us the nod that yes, I can recognize. So this created a feeling that here I can go once more. So I said, okay, now I know how to calculate productivity of a person who otherwise is very difficult to quantify or to gauge. Right. So even then it was not very easy to quantify, but it did tell me that if you do something, then how can it contribute to the revenue? So that was one of the beginning, starting of my journey onto the productivity issue. Right. Now, what happened over a period of time? I continued my HR career till about 2015. And then I think I thought it is enough of working for an organization. Let me start doing my own thing. And I moved into, like most of the people, most senior HR people get into consulting. I don't know. Anyone into consulting already in this lot? Yeah, so Tanvi must have experienced it for sure. So I moved into consulting, thinking that okay, I don't want to work for a company. Let me start giving basic services, and my target was always SME. And initially, I thought that these people are looking for policies and procedures and so on. So it was. I said, okay, I can draft policy for you. I can do this. I can do that. Kind of, uh, and I had very few clients at that time. Subsequently, I joined hand with someone who is still a pretty decent size of motivational speaker with something like 6.5 million followers, and very popular within the Marwadi community. He said, "Why don't you join hand? Because I'm a trainer, but people do ask for consulting support." I said, "Fine." And then the actual journey started. It was all SMEs, many of them based out of Calcutta, Delhi, manufacturing units, even small hospitals, so doctors who are running hospitals. There were uh, retail was one of the largest segment, apparel, retail, apparel manufacturer, and so on. So, very, very varied kind of industry compared to my background. Because my background was largely into IT, I had done some retail and a pharma. There, I had, like I described, every kind of affair. Nothing less than 50 plus client is something I ended up interacting over a period of 2 years. Tanvi, can you share which is one of the biggest questions that you came across? When you interact with client, I'll share my experience with these clients. What is one of the biggest pain point that client have been referring to? Tanvi, do you want to share your experience?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. So the kind of sector I work for, Shamik, is again SME. So productivity analysis, right hire. So these are common topics that gets discussed. That we are able to manage our daily HR operations, but when it comes to strategic HR decisions, that's where they need consultants more. Is what I have experienced till date.
Right, right. So in my case, yes, this was one of the thing, especially getting the right hire, etc. This was definitely one, but underlying underlying issue which they wanted to resolve always was uh, that we are SME and we want to grow. The objective of hire was not just the replacement of, or just simply getting a talent in the company. They always thought that if I get this talent, I will be able to grow. Right. So it is more about the growth, which was a driver for the HR intervention. Unlike what we otherwise do is to support the organization. So I also came across this hiring as one of the major point. But when I went just a level below, I realized that it is all for the growth and so. Now here is something that we know it is logical and this is how things work, and basically I don't think I'm going to be sharing any new thing, but what I will be sharing is something that I have been practicing, and this is possibly a help. And anyone who is practicing within or somebody who is practicing as a consultant, maybe this solutions can help. So with that idea, let me share something what I have been thinking and doing. Is that fine? Any question till now?
No, Shamik, good to go.
Okay, so I'm moving to the next step. So you are able to see my screen, is it?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So basic story remains same over a period of time. I mean, from time immemorial, I should say. That business owners have just one or more of these objectives. What they want is money, name, and fame. I haven't really seen any objective which is going beyond. Maybe at one level they say, okay, I want to be doing a lot of philanthropy and so on, but there also rarely it is going to be a silent philanthropy. They that there is a name attached to it. Yeah. So essentially, these are the three major objectives that any business owner wants to achieve. Okay. The only way they see to get this is to create an organization, because all the businesses are about leveraging the resources. And if they don't organize the resources, they can't really achieve what they want. And it is a natural instinct. So they end up doing this. They create an organization. Now, what happens when such an organization is formed? There is another player called employee, right? And all the employees and all of us, we are in HR and we know without a doubt that for employee, everything else matters so less beyond these three basic motivations, right? Which is about their career, about their reward. And when I say reward, I mean it is like their salaries and increments and so on and so on. So reward, I am including everything. So his career, reward, and recognition. This is what motivates an employee. These are the drivers. And for these drivers, they join the organization. So employees, they join the organization. So essentially, organization is nothing but a meeting point of two two set of people, or two categories, where one has these motivations and other has these motivations. Now, we as HR has this particular thing to deliver. At the core of our delivery is how do we actually ensure that these two expectations are met? Because if we are able to do this, then we have achieved our objective, right? We achieve our objective if employees get what they want and if business owners get what they want. Right, this is very, very simple, basic thinking. Any question over here, or this particular thing is very, very clear? Anything you want to add out of your experience that no, beyond these, there are other things which matter? You want to share anything which says that, okay, no, beyond this, something matters? Right, so I presume this is the core where our challenges lie. Now, let me share as to how I attempt to solve it. Right? And maybe this experience, you can use it, or you might be using it already and you want to add something for the benefit of others. You are most welcome to do this. So here is how I do this, which is getting business results through employee performance management. See, as HR, I have realized that running performance management is a process for us, and many a times we lose out the business perspective. And many a times we see a pura exercise ho gaya, but ultimately business keeps trying that we did not achieve our objective because people have performed very well, but for some reason we did not get the result. So this is one challenge that all of us face. Now, how to join these two things, two objectives? So here is what we do. So it's a 4-step process that I follow. Step 1 is business management process. Step 2 is people management process. Step 3 is action tracking, and step 4 are the rewards that needs to be associated, executed as fast as possible kind of scenario. So let us see what is a part of business management process. And one of the, I don't know if any one of you have done this exercise. If you have ever asked, what are the goals? I mean, if you go back and ask your sales head, possibly he will still be able to answer. Or if you are working with SME, you go back and ask the owner, sir, aapko chahiye kya? Ultimately, what is that you are looking at? And usually the answer is, acha boss, itne ka apne ko growth chahiye. I want this sales growth or this profit growth is something that at best these owners are able to define, but nothing beyond. They are not able to define their goals. This is a problem. I do not know if you have experienced it already while executing PMS, or if not, you can take it from me that whenever you interact with business owners and ask them, "Bhai, goal kya hai aapka?" they will not be able to do it beyond their monetary goals. Right? So, as step number 1, what we need to do is we need to seek goal along all these 4 objectives. This is financial goals to our clear kar rahe. which is about, and financial goals, when you give them objectives like this, sir, and this I'm suggesting that how do you want to improve cost? आप asset utilization को कैसे improve करना चाहोगे? आप revenue opportunities आपको कैसे क्या बढ़ानी है? And आप customer value को कैसे? When I say customer value, it means a customer is paying X amount, and now can I make X plus Y, whatever. So how do I do this? So possibly these are almost ready answer. They will they will rattle out. Where the subsequent support from HR who is running PMS, they need to ask these questions as well. That see, you will not be able to achieve financial objectives if the customer related objectives are not met. And what are these customer related objectives? What do you want to do about quality? What offers do you want to make? Where all do you want to make things available? What functionalities? Because if they define this, can you go back and talk to your team accordingly, right? Similarly, you can address the customer market segment. Right? So let us go and get these objectives from the business. What is it you want to achieve? Then comes process related objectives, which says how is our operation going to be different, or what changes that we need to make to operations? What do in the customer management process, how do we want to change how customers are being acquired, right? How they are being retained? उसमें अगर आपको कुछ change चाहिए क्या? Remember, all these are the responsibility of the business. It could be business owner, it could be the head who is responsible for profit and loss for the operations. So they are responsible to answer all these questions. You must get answers for these questions. Maybe only we will have to ask these questions. What skills do we need? How is data going to be managed? How is internal communication that will work, right? How the leadership and their team will be performing. So these questions people must answer, owners must answer. Anybody who is running business must answer these questions. Now what happens once they answer this question? How do you bring it down? Because remember one thing, here is a linkage. Our linkage is something like this, that if people do not have the necessary skills, processes will falter. If processes falter, customer related activities will falter. And if customer related activities falter, the finances will falter. And hence the business will not achieve its objective. Right. So they tend to be financial goals, not really putting any emphasis on this. It is our responsibility as HR to ask these, get answers for these questions, because they are linked. And most of the time you will see that they say, okay, I want to have these financial goals and my people are not right. They simply gulp these two areas without realizing that there is a linkage. Internally, mentally, they do realize that, अच्छा, मेरे को ये process चलाना है ना, इसलिए मेरे को ये आदमी चाहिए. Right. So recruitment, yes, it is a valid requirement कि मेरे को एक आदमी चाहिए But when you go back, इसे आदमी चाहिए so that I can run this process right in the right fashion. And why does he want to run the process right way? Either so that he can save money or he can make money. These are the only. See, nobody will hire unless they have a problem, right? So all the hiring, so they jump from financial objective to people objective. The other two suddenly go missing. So it is our responsibility. So in my practice, I see to it that I always end up asking these questions before. So when he says, "अच्छा मेरे को एक hire चाहिए, अच्छा किस चीज के लिए hire चाहिए?" Then he says, "अच्छा मेरे को ये चलाना है, अच्छा ये चलाने से क्या होगा? तो ये particular process affect होगा and so on, right?" So that is the business management side of the process that we need to work. Now, coming to the people side of it, we say we use the same financial goals, same whatever we gathered over there, and who do we set it for? So the financial goals you set with the HODs. You said because HODs are responsible to deliver ultimately the financial results. They need to be very careful. They should be about P&L. They should be most conscious about the P&L of their function. Right. They may still have to deliver other areas. They may still have to deliver operational results. But largely P&L within their segment. So you, based on whatever discussed above, because these are the same 4 areas, you will see it here, that financials you discuss with HOD, P&L of their segment. Customer related goals, which means these areas, right? We say quality, offer, availability, functionality. That those goals you should set it for the senior level executives. So even if it is HR need to understand who is the ultimate customer, right? Even if it is finance, it is not just the senior executive. When I say senior executive, anybody who is say DGM, AGM kind of designation with whatever 18, 20 years kind of experience, they need to understand who the customer is and what is customer behavior. If possible, they must interact with customer, right? So all customer related issues they need to understand, and hence customers related goals can be set with the senior level, senior executives within the team. Process related goals. This, how the operations management process will run, how innovation process will run. So for all these, you set goals for the mid-level executives, right? And to give you example of, all junior level executives, we hire them for their skills. See, idea is to hire for attitude and train for skills. But most of the hires happen other way around. We say, अच्छा एक काम करो, ये स्किल गैप है, ये स्किल वाले को आप लेके आ जाओ, बाद में उसको HR को मतलब ट्रेनर को बुला के विल टेल देम कि अच्छा इसका एटीट्यूड को थोड़ा करेक्ट करना है, राइट? सो that is a problem in itself, but we still hire this lot for their skills. So you set whatever are the skills level goals, that okay, today maybe you are performing a production at a machine level. Now maybe you need to be floor supervisor, right? And you need a different skill involved in it. And this goes on irrespective of the industry, whether it is retail, manufacturing, software development, software, services. You take any area and you will see that it is still at junior level. We are talking about the skills. Okay. Something that we end up failing is we do not make rewards clear at that time. Because goals we set, but if we do not make the rewards clear, it becomes, अच्छा ठीक है, हर टाइम जैसे गोल सेट किया ऐसा गोल सेट कर देते हैं, and then nothing much to talk about money. Most of the money talk, or any kind of recognition, you should start talking about it right there. Because if you miss out on this, here the engagement is likely to lose the grip. So I ensure that, okay, if these are the goals, what is in it for them? This we need to seek what is in it for them. And business is willing to say, acha, ye de denge. So that is where the reward needs to start, playing out its game then and there. Then what happens? And then it is actually the bull's work, because still here it is still a brain work. But here is where the bull's work begins, where, having set the goal, we need to ask them this question. And most of the people do end up accepting the goals. They say, अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, ये अचीव करना है, इतना आपने को ये हमने डिस्कस किया, ये गोल अचीव करना है, ठीक है मैं करके आ जाऊंगा. ठीक है. How many of you have experienced that people don't even ask back कि कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, या right? All of us, I mean, at least I have experienced that when I say, अच्छा this is the goal, most of the people end up accepting कि अच्छा बॉस ने बोला है, इसलिए ये मेरा गोल है. Right? Very few people end up asking question back. That is the point. It is our responsibility to ensure that they commit the initiative. ये achieve करने के लिए, this is what I will do. So if I have to achieve my certain financial goals, this is what is going to be my initiative. Right? So say for example, I want to have better asset utilization. Right, as HOD, if this goal has been set for me, I will say, अच्छा, मेरे पास office space is only as much. Can I really see to it that I can have two sets of people working in two different shifts, but can I operate from the same space? Right. This could be one initiative, or maybe they can prepare such a list that अच्छा इसका utilization कैसे बढ़ाएं, right? Or how will we bring down the cost? So they will start listing out the initiative, and it is our responsibility to see that initiatives are listed properly. Right? Does it make sense? Any question till here? Right? So I presume that at the moment there are no questions, but it is definitely our responsibility that we see what are the initiatives. So if you look at it, we ask question to business in these areas. Here we are asking question to the HODs, and we are capturing the initiatives. And another responsibility that we are carrying out is also making rewards clear to them, right? But our work doesn't end here. We still need to start tracking those initiatives, right? We need to start maintaining the scorecard, and this is very interesting exercise. If you can, this is a place. If you are creative enough, you can gamify. And at quite a few places, I have successfully gamified this element, and that really gave excellent results. You know, the moment you have these initiatives, scores, rewards, और क्या चाहिए essentially to gamify, right? You start creating leaderboards, you start creating competitions within the teams or amongst the teams, and suddenly you will see that performance becomes little fun, right? So here is your chance to actually do the gamification. When you, especially, it is easy to acknowledge when you gamify, when you gamify, because in the game there is a constant feedback going on. The interaction is more rigorous than otherwise a silent performance tracking. So, okay, and not at out of whatever 50, 75 clients that I handle over 2 years, at least at about 10 places, I could gamify it because they had necessary wherewithal to support it. And results are fabulous. I must recommend this. Right. So this is what we need to do while doing the action tracking. Right. And then comes the final step, which is about rewards. It can be in the form of incentives and bonus. It can be task-based, result-based, right? You decide about the increment. You decide about the career plan. Ideally, if you have this plan ready, which you can use it here, right? In order to make the rewards clear, you should start, having a plan for this. Now, this everything sounds very, very logical, and it sounds simple, but it is for sure not easy. It is a decent amount of work for us, but I tell you, it is a great rewarding work. It gives us necessary exposure to, in my case, it gave me exposure to varied kind of businesses and who their customers are, what their customer psyche is, right? And how does it, because customer psyche will ultimately play on the psyche of the business owner. And that is what will drive their, that you need to have the necessary values and vision and so on. So it is the customer psyche which affects the value system of the owners, because they want to achieve their objectives, right? So understanding that customer's psyche is so useful. Apart from, and ultimately it is the owner's psyche that will create the culture. It is the culture that will create the behavior of employees. So you will be able to visualize the whole play out over there, where customer, owner, employee, and how the organization is, becoming visible. So this is how my practice is about achieving this results through the employee performance, because there is no other area. We are about HR, so it is about people. But this has been my journey, and I'm satisfied with it. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'm open for it. Maybe I should be able to share something more. I do exercise like this, this is department wise. There are different. Now, what happens is when you ask questions, people may not have answer right away. So you start playing KBC. Says ये सवाल है, इसके 4 options है, ये 4 options में से आपको lifeline भी मिलेगी, and so on. 1 करोड़ का प्राइस मिलेगा क्या नहीं वो मैं नहीं बोल सकता, but at least we still have to provide this as a template. This helps. So,
Shamik, we can't see your template if you are sharing something.
oh, is it? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
My screen sharing is paused, it seems. So, was my earlier screen?
Yeah, we were able to. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you are able to see this sheet, right? Google sheet, Excel sheet. Right, my screen is available now.
I think so. It's still loading for me.
Okay.
I'm not sure about others, but yeah, it's visible now.
For others as well, I presume. So okay. So what I was telling is, when you ask questions to business, because employees will not come back or employees will ask you very less question. But when you ask questions to the business, you may not get the answer for very reason, because they may not have even experienced it. So when you ask them, sir, आपका objective sales में आपका objective क्या है? तो बोलेगा यार ये लाइफ में मेरे को ऐसा सवाल किसी ने पूछा ही नहीं है. But when you say, अच्छा sales में what do you want to do? I mean, you want to personalize sales approach. You want to increase profitability. I mean, these are very standard for the sales. But for marketing, what do you want to achieve? And here are some of the thought prompters. So I will suggest, if you get a chance, based on your experience, start collecting these thought prompters for them, because then their responses will be easy to capture. Because if you ask them broad question which says, "Acha, marketing में आपका objective क्या है?" they may not be able to answer it in a right fashion. But when you provide them with a template, it becomes easy. Right? So this is about marketing, HRV, operations, right? Finance, so on. So this could be for a manufacturing company. For ITES, there could be separate set of right? So it could be engineering, product, customer success, finance, ops, HR, marketing. So likewise, in my experience, I have done my own collection. I will suggest that if you do this exercise, if you do this study, it is going to be very interesting exercise for you. And your interaction with your internal customer will be much better. Right? So this has been my experience till now. I hope it will be useful sometimes for you.
Great, Shamik. It is a great share. Trust me, a couple of things. One, from an HR, it looks you are even a tech expert, because the way you created the whole flowchart diagram, I think so a lot of tech experts would also not be able to do this. One page, but very innovative way to present. You rightly said people don't ask questions. Probably that's how we have been brought up in the Indian culture. People don't ask questions, and unless we don't ask questions, we just do things as and how told to us. So yeah, it's time we need to change that attitude and ask more questions. But before me doing the talk, let it go to the audience and let the audience ask the question, or the participants, if any questions for Shamik, he's here for us.
One quick check, the question may not be there, but any one of you who are practicing the performance as one of the core areas?
If somebody's trying to answer, they are on mute, so they can unmute. You all have the rights to unmute and answer.
Hello.
Yes, Rajesh.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Good evening, sir, and Dhwani. Good evening, all.
Good evening,
Uh,
Rajesh ji.
yeah, yeah. Sir, I am working as a, let us say, a generalized profile I have, but I have experience in PMS
Okay.
in different setups, let us say. So I had certain examples. What happens when we start the process
Okay.
in one company where there was a uh, system of MBO, that is management by objectives. Okay.
Hmm.
So they started with that particular system, and during first year of after that setting the objectives, what happened is the HODs have given outstanding to all. Means suppose 10 people are there in the department, so 7 are outstanding. Okay, so 5 out of 5, and then after the collection of all the results, what I did is that I asked them to write notes why they are given 5, and the people who have not even performed up to the mark according to them. So for 5 there were 8 points how they are good, and other way around there are no points. So that was the experience which I had, and then they realized that just giving 5 is not going to solve the purpose, but the main function is database management. If you have data, you show it, and then we will see whether really you have performed or not. Okay, so that helped a lot in the second and subsequent year, that the objectives became the let us say means quantifiable, which were not actually during the first year, unfortunately. So I joined in the middle of the year over there, and then from second and third year it was like smooth and even educating to all, let us say. And now I am practicing SAP success factor, which is the totally automated process. So these are the two experience which I would like to share.
Sure. Thanks for sharing your experience, Rajesh ji. Shamik, do you have any comments on that?
Sorry, suddenly got disconnected. But yeah, I think Rajesh, I think most of the people will share kind of your kind of experience. You start doing, most of the employees get high ratings and so on. And you are absolutely right. Maintaining the database is the crux. So what we are practice, and there are formats and interactions and process improvement that I did in this was I have effectively moved to perpetual performance management.
We are seeing Shamik getting dropped. Okay, I think so. He will join back again. Meanwhile, if you all have questions, you all can put this on comment, or maybe we can wait for Shamik again to rejoin. I think so. He's rejoined. Shamik, you there?
Sorry, it looks like my connection was going off and on. So, so essentially, yes. My suggestion is, if we can move to perpetual performance management, nothing like it, where you are constantly monitoring so that this, people getting 5 out of 5 can be avoided. So, hello.
Yeah, Shamik, we are losing your voice. I think so. The internet supported you till the time you were presenting.
So what I do, let me put my video on, maybe
Now, your video is already off.
if it helps. No, I
Video is already off.
switched it off now.
Okay, sure.
Really bad network.
No worries. Do we have a next set of question, please? Anybody from the audience would like to ask for a question?
they can share their experience as well about the performance management. So that is what, and the problems that ended up or how did they solve it. Even that is like Rajesh described.
Hey, hi Shamik, hi Dhwani, this is Faras here. I have a quick question if that's okay with both of you.
Yes, Paras. Hi, good evening. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening. So, Shamik,
Please go
I
ahead.
have a quick question. Nowadays, a lot of new startups, they instead of going through this 360 appraisals or the MBOs and those kind of things, instead of that, they are moving to OKRs, which is more of a Google centric approach, right? What is your thoughts? As in, uh, does that really serves the purpose? Because that's very myopic in nature.
Basically, this my response is like this. Uh, Essentially, in my experience, I've realized that people are not able to envision for a very long period of time, which means it is very difficult to say, okay, I have 5 years of vision.
Okay.
Okay.
Your
So
voice is
long
breaking.
term is a so okay, allow me to switch my network if that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, this is
I'm
better.
back. Audible now? Yeah, okay. So able to envision a long term, we might feel that it is myopic, mere ko ab bhi, I mean, I want result, in the shortest period of time. So this behavior will not go away, Parasji. Right. Now, in such an environment, OKR is a decent, mechanism. That is what I feel. But it again puts load onto us, HRs, to ensure that right questions are being asked to gather the objectives. Problem is, it is getting time to explain the mechanism of OKR and finally executing OKR. So those problems do remain. So yes, I agree that OKR is a good mechanism. It might appear relatively shorter duration thing, but it is definitely effective.
Great. Thanks for your input, Shamik.
Thank you, Parajit. So
Yeah,
anyone else wants to share their experience on performance? Because ultimately one of the issues that I have also encountered is they always say, "Arey HR ko business समझ में नहीं आता है." Right? It is your performance practice that will definitely enhance your value in the eyes of business. So yeah.
right. Shamik, I think so. We're getting over to the time. We had 4 to 5, and people are in the working office.
Yes.
So I think so. Let me take this opportunity again to thank you, Shamik, for sharing your your thoughts, your vision, the practices that you do. I thanks all the participants for being there and hope this was a very knowledgeable session. Kindly reach out to us if you need any guidance further with Shamik. Shamik has been always been kind to lending his knowledge, and he believes that sharing helps to grow. So kindly share if anything is required. And as for all of you, I'm sure you are aware, but I did not take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Dhwani Mehta, founder and director with Opportune. And it was absolutely pleasure connecting with you all. And Shamik, once again, thank you for being a great host and a teacher to us today.
Thanks, Doreen. Thanks, Shamik.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye.